Hey all, Heretic here with another Hearthstone Battlegrounds tips and tricks guide, and I'm here to bring you the information you need to help you win with Lich Baz'hial. So get comfy and let's dive in. Let's talk about our hero power Graveyard Shift. This hero power costs 0 and says, take 2 damage and add a gold coin to your hand. Now, let me think about this and how I feel. Is it good to take 2 damage for 1 gold worth of economy? Typically, I love economy. That's the play. But the damage you're inflicting on yourself can contribute to a pretty early game end if you're not careful. I typically like to avoid using this power in the early game. With that being said, let's take a look at Lich's buddy, who very much helps with the damage. Unearthed Underling is a tier 4, 4/4 buddy that reads, whenever your hero takes damage, this minion gains +2/+2 instead. This doesn't mean you're some kind of undefeatable god of BGs, buffing your buddy with +2/+2 every combat you lose. This means that when you do damage to yourself, it gets buffed. Important distinction there. Now, there's not too many ways to deal damage to yourself right now in the game. In fact, there's only 2. Your hero power Graveyard Shift and the minion Wrathweaver. Also note, for you, if you take Catherine Natir as a minion on your board when you play demons, and your Wrathweaver goes to deal damage to you, Unearthed Underling will not be buffed, as the Catherine Natir prevents the damage that should hit you, and thus the Underling gets no buffs. That's an important note. Don't forget that one. And don't learn it the way I did. But let's talk about minions that work with this hero. What kind of build do you want to do? Now, as it stands right now, there's a very specific way to win with Lich Baz'hial. Demons. More specifically, you win with Wrathweavers and your buddy. Have you ever wanted to spend almost, or maybe even the entire game on tier 1? It's a very low-key playstyle, but hot damn, this works, folks. I've tried it multiple times, and it's relatively easy to pull off since you basically need to buy all the Wrathweavers you see and cycle demons. Your goal, it's really to get 3 golden Wrathweavers on the board and just keep running those demons. You're staying on tier 1 essentially all game, so you're going to get all the Wrathweavers you need. Now, if it's the early game and you're not finding them, don't worry about it. Just buy the minions you can with good stats and be patient. You're the only one who's going to be playing tier 1 more than likely. And even if there's another demon player, odds are they're only going to go for 1 single Wrathweaver. Once your buddy's online and running, every single time you cycle a demon to buff your Wrathweavers, your buddy's just going to get bigger. And once you have that buddy, slam the hero power you want as much as you can. Just go to town on it. Now, what you want to do starting around turn 10 is where you want to change your thought process a little bit. If you've not tripled into both of these minions, I'd start considering going up to tier 2. What you're looking for is an unstable ghoul and preferably a golden selfless hero. These 2 minions in the 1 and 2 leftmost spots of your board will give you the staying power against most of those higher tier comps that you're going to be up against. Ghoul takes out all their shields. Selfless hero buffs your larger minions, giving you some more staying power to win the game. Ideally, you want your board to be Unstable Ghoul, Selfless Hero, Unearthed Underling, and 3 Wrathweavers. And a last slot for cycling demons. Remember, since you're tier 1, your fights are going to be a long, slow process to kill your opponents, as you're only doing 2 to 9 damage a win. That being said, the stats you're going to be throwing at them, coupled with removing their shields and gaining some of your own shields, should leave you in a good position. Also, a useful minion in this comp is if you triple into an early Rabid Soralisk. You're going to be cycling tier 1 demons, and those all have death rattles, making his buff of +1/+2 a minion played a good buff if you cannot find the early Wrathweavers. I'd advise dumping him though once you get enough Wrathweavers, as when you cycle demons, the Weavers buff themselves, but when they buff themselves, they buff your buddy. No such, happy interaction between the Rabid Soralisk and them. Now, unfortunately, the counter to them is a little harder to come by. If you're playing against Lich Baz'hial and you're trying to counter their, 60, 70, 200 health attack minions, you're going to need poison. That's just the easiest way to deal with this. Amalgadons, Murlocs, they're your best bet. Deadly Spores are good, but if he's running an Unstable Ghoul, they're dead unless you spend time buffing them with, blood gems and whatnot. Otherwise, this board is going to sport a lot of stats, and you're going to need a very high roll comp to deal with them when they're running into your minions at the size they're at. She's a tough hero to knock out without a lot of poison, and even then, she still tends to finish top 4 even when you have the poison. Now, all that being said, Lich Baz'hial is a very different and simple hero as she stands right now. Also, if demons are not in the lobby, I advise just strongly against taking her. She's just weak without the Wrath Weavers. I mean, you can win with any hero at any time, but luck will have to be very much be on your side for that to happen with her. In the end, I've attached a link with some gameplay if you're looking to see how I pilot her. Stay tuned, I have more guides on the way. I hope you learned a few things today and had a good time. I know I did.